Devil May Cry is certified platinum with 5 sequels, millions of games sold, a Netflix animated series, and it was created completely by accident when Capcom developers were making a sequel for an entirely different game. To understand how our favorite pizza chomping and wisecracking Demon Slayer came to exist, we have to take it all the way back to the late 1990s when Capcom was creating sequels for their mega hit franchise, Resident Evil. Launched in 1996, the zombie shooting game was a pioneering entry in the survival horror genre. In this type of game, players can't Rambo their way across a map, blasting enemies to pieces with massive guns and an unlimited supply of ammo. In survival horror, resources are scarce, weapons are weak, and death comes easily and often. It's a game style that rewards patience and planning rather than bullet-splitting rampages. While this style of play generated legions of fans, millions of game sales, and a movie franchise, by the time Resident Evil 4 was in production, the developers wanted to reinvent how fans experienced the game. Capcom assigned Shinji Mikami to produce the sequel, and he asked Hideki Kamiya to serve as director. But Kamiya turned him down because he felt the outdated PlayStation 1 hardware was too limiting for his creative vision. However, Mikami told him that they were producing the game for the brand new PlayStation 2, and he challenged him to create a faster and more dynamic style of gameplay that would push the console to its limits. Kamiya accepted the job. His starting point was a new character named Tony Redgrave. In the original script, Tony was a superhuman bioengineered by the Umbrella Corporation who escaped from their labs with no memory of his past and incredible powers. The game's story follows Tony as he explores a castle to learn his true origins. Kamiya also wanted Tony to have an exciting personality. While most Resident Evil heroes were serious and dour, he saw Tony as cool and fun. The kind of guy you'd want to pound pitchers and eat wings with at a sports bar. They even gave him a bright red leather coat to make him stand out from the more conservative design of the other characters. Finally, to support an action-oriented style of gameplay, he needed to reinvent the game's enemies. Resident Evil's zombies could be terrifying, but they were also slow-moving and limited in their abilities. Kamiya introduced supernatural elements to the series, so he could create more powerful monsters that could fly, shapeshift, spit fire, and create a greater challenge for the game's hero. Once they were deep into the development process, Mikami and Kamiya realized that while the game they were making was awesome, it wasn't a Resident Evil game. Resident Evil was built on making players feel genuine fear as they played because their character was underpowered compared to the monsters they were fighting. That fear goes away when your hero is an all-powerful demigod carrying a massive sword who can throw monsters through the air like baseballs. Mikami tried to convince Capcom to make their sequel into an entirely new game. The company initially resisted, but eventually, just as he had with Kamiya, he persuaded them to embrace his vision, and a new franchise was born. To shift the game away from its zombie origins, writers reworked the story so that Tony was a demon slayer with origins in hell, and his superpowers came from his bloodline instead of a lab. Next, they changed his name to Dante as a tribute to the Italian poet Dante Alighieri, who wrote Dante's Inferno, a story that chronicles a man's journey through the 9 circles of hell. However, in a nod to his origins, Dante's famed pistols, Ebony and Ivory, still have the words, "For Tony Redgrave" by 45 artworks etched into them. Mikami planned to call the new game Devil May Care, but because of copyright issues with another property, settled on Devil May Cry. Ultimately, the decision to spin off Kamiya's vision worked out for both franchises. The new Resident Evil 4 sold over 12 million copies, won numerous Game of the Year awards, and was recognized as the best-selling survival horror game of all time by the Guinness Book of World Records. Devil May Cry was also a success. The first game sold 2 million copies, and the franchise as a whole sold 33 million copies and is considered one of the first great modern 3D action games. Because Capcom trusted Kamiya and Mikami's creative instincts, they wound up with a hit sequel to their existing franchise and a hit game that would launch an entirely new franchise. But if it hadn't been for a major accident or major inspiration, the world might never have enjoyed slaughtering all the demons of hell with the sword-wielding son of Sparta.
Do you have a hidden plot of a TV show or movie that you want us to uncover in a future episode? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to never miss a video. Thanks for watching.